remember it had been a really long day, and I was driving back from work, and it was about 4:30 that I got a phone call. It was from the GP. At that moment, I knew it was bad. I knew whatever it was wasn't going to be good. And I headed there as quickly as I could. My name is Lexi. I was diagnosed in 2023, and this is my story. 2022 was a hard year for me. My car had been broken into twice, and I was on the verge of homelessness at the time. I'd also lost a friend that was quite dear to me. But most people didn't see that. Most people just thought I was really busy. I was involved in local activism. I ran a sporting club. I mean, I worked full time, but I was also involved in NGOs. And when I wasn't doing any of those things, usually I was meeting up with guys. And it worked pretty well. I kept myself very busy, and I felt really comfortable with it. Until about December, just after Christmas, I got really sick. I spent 6 weeks just at home, bedridden. But eventually I started getting better and started getting busy again and meeting up with guys again. I'm not sure exactly why, but I thought I should be more proactive this time. So I went to my GP and I asked if I can get on PrEP. And they said yes, and they gave me the obligatory blood screening, and I didn't think much of it. It was later that week though, on a Friday, as I was driving home. It was about 4:30 that I got the call from the GP that asked me to come in, which is unusual. I asked what was wrong, but they wouldn't tell me. And they normally tell you. But not this time. So I drove there, and I got there with about 10 minutes before they closed. I sat and waited. The doctor that I saw wasn't my regular doctor, but he came in and he sat down in front of me and handed a bunch of papers across and told me that I had HIV. And that was about all he told me. I tried asking questions, but he didn't really know anything. He just said that it had been reported to RPH and that they'd give me a call. I left feeling really empty. I didn't know what it meant at the time. I called my best friend and headed over there, and I remember just laying in her arms and crying, and she cried. We didn't know what it meant, or what it meant going forward at all. I tried to find more information out on my own, but everything just conflicted. Something said that I would be, my life would be cut short 10 more years, and others said that I'd live a little longer, weirdly. And other things said that I would be plagued by small illnesses. I remember just being at home that weekend, feeling alone, and it was really dark. I took the Monday off, and I managed to call through to M Clinic, and I got a hold of a nurse there. It was the first time that someone actually gave me some information that I felt that I could be confident in. Not only did he let me know that things would be okay, but he told me where I could go to get help. And that was huge. I booked myself in to see a doctor at View Street and to see Leah at RPH. And I felt better. I felt more in control. Slowly getting busy again, and not meeting up with people. I wasn't undetectable at the time, but I started looking around for other things that maybe I wasn't aware of before. I saw that WAAC had a free therapy service for people with HIV. I was quite stressed. There was a lot going on, and I thought this would be a good way to deal with that stress. I thought this would be a good place for me to talk about the thoughts that you have while driving your car. I drove a lot, and I had a lot of thoughts. I remember that first session, I wasn't prepared. I just remember a torrent of pain and just decades of trauma just pouring out of me. I left feeling emptied, just gutted. And I kept going to therapy. And slowly but surely, I started to feel better. I went quite a lot at the beginning and I needed it. I started to feel better in a way that actually felt real. It wasn't just feeling in control, but it was feeling like I understood myself. Or at least I understood myself a little better than I did when I went in. I started to cut things down. I wasn't so busy anymore. I started seeing more of my friends and spending more time feeling like myself. I don't really have a big moral at the end of the story or anything. I think there are two main things that I kind of took from my experience though. I think the first one is that you should take advantage of things that are available to you, even if you don't think that you need them. If you'd asked me at the time whether I needed therapy, I probably would have told you no. In fact, I know I would have, because I had friends who suggested that I do it, not because they knew anything was wrong, but because they thought maybe it would help. I didn't know I needed the therapy, but I did. And I am eternally grateful for the supports that I've received at places like WAAC. And the second thing I think is that I remember that weekend being just awful. And I felt like I had hit the bottom. And in a way I kind of had. But it wasn't because that's where I would stay. I hit the bottom because it was a turning point. A turning point I didn't know that I had coming. But it was really important because it was the bottom because that's when I changed.